Page 12 of my book. Who sent the police to section me on the 30th October 2017? Depression, 4th July 2016. Today I must tackle a subject that is close to my heart, depression, and the spectre of disability, mental and physical. The reasons are many, as I have had to cope with my hidden disabilities that were eventually triggered and exacerbated into this full-blown depression over the years. Yesterday I was paralyzed with the symptoms of depression resulting from events over which I have no control. Before people start to judge me about issues for which they have absolutely no knowledge, I would entreat them to take a little time to be in my shoes for just 1 second of my life. Some might think depression is a preserve of the celebrities, rich and famous. However, this is a total myth perpetuated by the media. The celebrities are knowledgeable about how to use their mental health conditions to benefit their recovery and to increase their income streams. They have the media and tabloid press to help them market themselves to a wider audience. These days, I am making it my business to be my own self-promoter, as no one celebrity is that interested in what is best for me. My younger brother nailed it precisely when he told me to make sure you look out for you and do what is best for you. Without a shadow of a doubt, I can see the sense in what he told me a few weeks ago. Yesterday I had another meltdown as I could not deal with the number of pressures directed at me from every corner. I do not know what I have done to deserve all the bad things that have been happening to trigger the depression. As soon as I think I am in control, I know getting into a state is not good for mine or my husband's disabilities and progressive health conditions. But when the black dog depression attacks, I have no powers to ward off the attack and just must go with the flow. Mine and my husband's entire lives are affected. I cannot eat, sleep, or function properly to carry out normal day-to-day activities. Being his primary care is detrimental to his overall health and well-being if I am in a depressive state and unable to care for him or myself. If my husband starts worrying about me like what happened over the past year from October 2014 to date, then there is every likelihood he starts getting hypoglycemia is triggered when blood sugar levels fall under 4 mmol/L. Too much insulin or too little food can spark a hypo. If I am unable to perform my statutory duty of care, I am condemning both of us to sufferings that I refuse to think about owing to my traumatic childhood into adulthood that changed the course of a promising life. That is why I probably developed the obsessive compulsive disorders, OCD, behavior as coping mechanisms. I use whatever interventions I can muster to get me going. As I have been letting it be known, I cuss bad words, in bracket bad words, like a trooper to alleviate my stress as a form of therapy. Barring that I might end up provoked and frustrated into committing a criminal offense over the years. Worse still, I would not be able to cope ending up in the slammer like my brother did. The sad thing about my brother ending up and dying as a prisoner is that he never had the sort of resilience like I possess. I put like I process. So he did what he thought was best at the time and went to church to wait for the authorities. My only hope is that he had time to reflect upon the circumstances that dictated the decisions he had to take. He became remorseful and forgiving for what he was provoked into doing. I, on the other hand, will never commit a criminal act unless they criminalize cussing bad words. So when I feel down and out and unable to cope, I go into bad words cussing mode, so as not to let the devil use me to do his will. If anyone wants to claim responsibilities for my bad word cussing modes, they are welcome, as I do not pick, choose, nor refuse when I lose control. The things that set me off at any given time is the way matters affect me. This might be as simple as about the little things like not knowing why I am being singled out for discrimination, of the magnitude that happened to me on 2 separate occasions in the UK. Last week, after getting myself out of a spell of depression, I was happy with my achievements. I went out into the public domain to celebrate what is good about being British. I was brought back to earth with a letter upon which my whole life depends. This letter contains information about whether I have a roof over my head or I am going to find myself homeless again. So I dropped everything to get the matter sorted, because when you have been homeless, you do not want to revisit them and relapse. I was at the job center Tuesday and Wednesday when instinct told me that the information I was receiving was not addressing the questions that needed answers. So I got on the telephone. I knew that I had to be assertive, especially when my disability chronic anxiety is triggered, as this brings out the passive aggression in me. I need to go do my research about how not to be passive aggressive to anyone. Papa Jesus, if only my dead parents would have known what was to happen to their only girl, they might have offered some protection from the grave. They would turn in their grave if I was put out into the streets again. I really do not need this stress right now with everything else that is going on. Sadly for me, when I studied, I was told that if you are asked any questions pertaining to your job and you do not know the answers, you should promise to find out from someone in authority who should know. A worker should never tell a parent/carer in my job in the early years sector that they don't know. Always promise to find out. These days, it is normal for even those in authority not to know the roles and responsibility in their job description and person specifications. Hence the reason I am in the position I found myself in and prone to full-blown depression. My hidden disabilities were exacerbated and triggered into depression. Came about only because I am passionate about my work and wanted to do my very best. My disorder, OCD behavior. The unfair treatment started at King's College Hospital NHS Foundation Trust Workplace Nursery, where I worked from March 2003 to November 2008. I started studies with the Open Universities 2004 after I thought I landed what I considered to be my ideal job. I intended to retire there or return to Jamaica, whichever came first. However, I had no inclination of how my life was to change over the next couple of years, despite me doing everything I thought to progress myself, to protect myself. Part of enhancing knowledge involved me applying and promoting best inclusive practices. From studies into the workplace I was fortunate to be in, I made contributions to enable the workplace I was employed to become beacons of excellence in the early years sector. I was not prepared for the way my life was to change at two toxic workplaces after I experienced bereavement and losses. After the death of my brother in 2008 and my mother in 2014. I must admit to this day I am still naive. I trust easily and respect and take everyone at face value. To be genuine with no axe to grind. My naivety always seems to be my downfall each time the haters strike. Working at King's College Hospital, NHS Foundation Trust Workplace Nursery is where my depression was triggered, was at the forefront of my mind, especially with the advent of social media. Therefore, the discrimination could not become a distant memory over the years, as Miss Winston Duncan, who was groomed by barrister Ryan Clement, tried to make out I am mad by altering my book and publishing it without my permission. I returned to South London after 5 years, and it was like I was scheduled to relive my nightmare. Only this time the nightmare was worse than the first, and I must come to terms with accepting who the perpetrators are in this sordid affair. The things that got to me were the similarities in the events and the persons involved. Like at the workplaces I have worked in from I was headhunted out of Lambeth College in 1999, and my intellectual property was used, my knowledge exploited and used for others to accept the accolades and benefit in their career and building brand. It's 6 o'clock, people. I've been up since about 4, so I've done 2 hours of reading and doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna try and upload these and have detoxify. Yeah, so this is Mervelee Myers, Mama Lou's one daughter, preparing and we're building the Chambers NEMBHARD clan.